And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can survive.
Fight for what's right. Fight for your life.
Well, thank you very much. This group gets bigger and bigger. This is a big group by any standard. This is like the Academy Awards used to be before they went political. Now nobody cares. But great honor to be with you. We're doing very well. Mexico is doing a great job at the border, really helping us. We want the Democrats to help us as much as Mexico, and we'll have absolutely no problem at the border. We'll clean it up very quickly. But the agreement with Mexico has been great. They've been working very hard. We're doing very well together. Good relationship, yes. Well, I heard Biden, who's a loser. I mean, look, Joe never got more than 1%, except Obama took him off the trash heap, and now it looks like he's failing. It looks like his friends from the left are going to overtake him pretty soon. But I heard, his whole campaign is to hit Trump. You look at what the Obama administration did in terms of the military, in terms of security, in terms of other nations, in terms of almost everything. Much of it now, fortunately for everybody here, has been overturned. But look, when a man has to mention my name 76 times in a speech, that means he's in trouble. Now, I have to tell you, he's a different guy. He looks different than he used to. He acts different than he used to. He's even slower than he used to be. So I don't know. But when he mentions my name that many times, I guess I should be complimented. Who? I never do. My poll numbers are great. By the way, we've gotten fantastic numbers. I guess Rasmussen just came out with a 50%. And the amazing thing is, all I do is get hit by this phony witch hunt, although they don't mention Russia anymore because there was no collusion. So now they want to try and say, well, did he obstruct a no collusion? So there was no crime. The crime was by the Democrats, folks. They've committed, in my opinion, many crimes, and time will tell what happens there. But the crime was by the Democrats. My poll numbers have been very, very good. We're starting really next week. It's going to be something I think very special. We're starting in Orlando, Florida.
Brother.
Airborne all the way. All the way.
The crimes were done by the Democrats.
yeah, whatever,
what
man.
said.
Look, well, they are.
Oh yeah.
I mean, look what they're doing. It's almost like they're signing their own warrant. All the stuff they've been doing for a long time, they've been getting away with. Now, somebody that's not part of the, shall I say, doesn't have a key to the executive room, is tearing all their crap apart because it's not right. And they're going like, oh, come on. We've been doing this for, the last 100 years, let's go. Sorry. He's not part of that little, remember we talked about the umbrella?
Yes.
The umbrella, Yeah, he's not part of that. He's a businessman. And I really think JFK Jr.'s in his back pocket. I really think so. Because otherwise, I don't know how he'd be able to come up with all the information that he needed to continue on to be a president, because he had to have it all prearranged, because if not, see, the Democrats were doing everything in their power to get him out of office. If he didn't have the proper people to rely on, he wouldn't have made it, because everybody is against him. He's only got such a small chosen few that are actually on board with the true program, true program. And the reason why they're on board with the true program is because they're getting sick and tired of watching how our government is screwing the people over. They don't want to see no one world order, and that's who President Trump has in his corner. And I'm so glad that I'm so glad he had that opportunity, because let's face it, folks, he doesn't belong in politics. He's not a politician. He doesn't even belong in a, like, say, small Senate race or whatever. He don't belong there. He wasn't a politician. He's a businessman. Well, here's a weird thing.
Well, that's how they put it, that he doesn't belong there because he's not a lifelong politician. But that's exactly what we really, truly need, is not life. Politicians, it shouldn't be a career. You're supposed to go serve your country for a few years, folks, and then get back to doing what you're doing. That's going to always result in the best, least crooked people, because they're not up there for 40 years promising promises. And we'll get to an article I got that talks just about that. But continue on, Woodman.
Yep. Mike, check us out. I know you're pretty good with figures and so forth. Now, how much has he brought into the country through tariffs or whatnot? Any way he done it, a positive flow of finances finally, and I'll stress that, finally coming into our country, through, like I say, through tariffs and such things like that. He's actually bringing money in. We're not giving it away anymore. You know what I mean? We need to have our own. We have to secure ourselves. You know, that's what he's there for. He wants to live here too, when it's going to be a fantastic free nation. Fantastic free nation. That's what I serve for. That's what you serve for, Mike. That's what Ben served for. That's what any person serves for, is to keep our sovereignty, our peaceful whole backyard, the whole backyard. Everybody's backyard is attached to another one. Keep it all like it's supposed to be, people. Free, with people smiling and being happy and so forth, not worried about what the government's going to do around the corner. You know, look, it's about time we have a president like this. And I know I'm going to make a lot of people mad, but I don't care. You know, I've been on this planet a little while, and I've seen a lot of stupid crap. And it's about time we have don't take it wrong, it's about time we have a president that has kahunas for his own country, not one world order, or how he's going to be involved in this big chain like all the free people have. And by the way, well, I got you guys' attention. I'm sorry. It's going to be sidetracked. I'm sorry. I don't get to watch the chats or comments, you know, coming in, because the way my system is. I apologize. But I happened to go over one of them, and I noticed that there's this, it says Pony Girl, Fort Bragg. Fort Bragg. Airborne all the way. I'm telling you, I just wanted, I had to.
Woodman's referring to, he was able to go back and look at some comments, and he saw one, and it was he just said it, Pony Girl, Fort Bragg or something, right?
Yeah. So Pony Girl's I've seen, yeah, but I've never seen a Fort Bragg one before. Yeah. Look, I don't get a chance to see all those things. I have to go, you know, like when we do a show, then I have to go back over it and watch it and all that stuff, you know. So
folks, he's talking about the live chat. We did have him set up with dual monitor, but there were some issues, and we thought it was something to do with the dual monitor. But honestly, you know, and then there's times you talk about L being home and you have to, you can't, and I don't think that was the issue either. I think you should be fine while he's doing that and you can get on live. I think it was all that whole keeping your computer on for about a week in standby mode or sleep mode. So we had Woodman to quit doing that. Now he shuts his machine off, and then right before we do a show, he fires up. Mine's acting funny right now too, because I've done 6 shows today. My RAM is heated up, and I've turned it down. I did a restart right before Me and Woodman couldn't go live. They changed something, folks, and I'm baffled. I'm baffled beyond belief. So I told them, we'll just record this show. We're going to get it out anyway. So it's not live anyway, but we were trying to go live. This is supposed to be a live show, but issues. Woodman, I wanted to hit on base with what you said real quick here. This is exactly 20-some years ago. Bill Cooper said it. Oh, we need a guy to come in that's never held office, never had any other political position, never been in the military, and you know, somebody that knows the Illuminati's plan and their overall globalization, globalist ideas, one world money, one world government, one religion eventually, one this, one that. And then he just breaks it down that it would take an outsider or somebody that maybe was a former insider, but has some kind of epiphany. Who knows what happens to these people's lives, because your typical billionaire is part of the Billionaires Boys Club, and they're not gonna, you know, go against the system. But here you got a man that's 70-some years old, has called it out. I know their plans because I was with them, and I'm here to destroy their plans and tell you, the American people, their plans for you. And they hate me now. I'm on the outside now. This is exactly what he said. And then this reporter had drilled Bill Cooper 20 years ago. Well, if somebody came from the outside, not part of the system, and knew of their plans and came in to destroy it, wouldn't he be eliminated immediately? I mean, that was his question. And he was not, Bill Cooper said, not if this person has the people behind him. And in one fell swoop, they come in, they elect him in, and then he starts, you know, removing these traitors from up here in D.C. And that's what's been happening too. So this is a plan, folks. This is a plan, and it's one in the makings. All right, now if we've had evil running amok for, you know, we can talk about thousands of years, but just with our own country, the last couple hundred, from the minute it was founded, we've had evil doers trying to come up, try to get the central banks over and over and over, and then they got it, and they've gotten lots of other things, and it's been a shitstorm. Trump coming in upset the political realm, the DC realm. 96% of DC over there didn't vote. That means all the Republicans didn't vote for him, dang near. All the Democrats didn't vote for him. Hollywood didn't want him in. Wall Street didn't want him in. The corporations didn't want him in. Nobody around the globe wanted him in. There was a vast network of Clinton connections. She was taking money for the last 12 years, 8 years in preparation for her 2016 win. They were getting money while Bill was speaking, money was flowing, all in the promise that you would get things once we get in. And now that you're paying us in 6 years in advance, it's going to look real good when she gets in, and you don't have to send us money or do anything, because, you know, we got separations of years of the payment to the do-good. It all went downhill. They lost. They've been scrambling since. A lot of this spying stuff didn't go through so well, and we can see all these little things falling apart at the seams now. And the reason for that is, folks, is they were in a scramble. They didn't know she wasn't going to win. They only had a couple months to come up with this insurance file to flip everything to the FISA courts. Now, if you remember, the FISA court, the first attempt to spy on Trump to get it legally, they were denied. They didn't have a good enough predicate. So then they went back and, you know, adjusted things. That little story came out from that Bruce or Christopher Steele, the FISA, the dossier. So it was all scrambled and done too quick for them to do it perfectly. Any lie takes a little bit of time and effort, and even a good lie, there's going to be loopholes because it's a lie. You just have to find those loopholes and press everybody. And this one's full of them. All the people that the FBI claimed the FISA judges to get the warrant. You know, this guy over here, George Papadopoulos, he was talking with a Russian agent, Your Honor. Well, that Russian agent was put there by them, and it wasn't really a Russian agent. It was a guy that had ties to Russia, but also he worked for the FBI for 15 years. They forgot to mention that to the judge. This other guy over here, I mean, each and every thing that they brought up was ones that they propped up, that they created, they sent this guy in over here. They were all on the payroll of the FBI, and they forgot to mention that. That's pretty big things to hold back from a judge when you're trying to get something to go your way, because they needed to spy on Trump at all costs, legitimately, even though they were doing it before the legitimate, and it wasn't legitimate, folks. We know the dossier was fake. The appearance of legitimacy, but they were doing it really, really crooked before then. All right, for the last 4 years before Trump. Nothing to do with Trump. This has all to do with the last administration spying on political enemies, judges, news anchors, anybody that opposed the Obama administration had could have been spied on. And then they took that information and used it in the 2012 election. They used it for a couple years after that just to have an advantage, just to hear what they were talking about and then be able to come up with a better lie or something over here and get that going first before anything could come out. And by 2016, it was a well-oiled, greased machine when they attacked Trump, Cruz, everybody on the Republican side. As they dropped out, the spying stopped. They weren't worried about it. They wanted to keep tabs while they were running. And it got down to Trump. His spying continued on because he won. But they were doing it on everybody. We'll find all that out. Right now, it's just about Trump and this election, this past election. And so there's my rant for this opening monologue.
Hey, when's the last time you heard somebody mention the word Russia?
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Here's a good one. That AOC today, she had told Congress they want to all get a raise, about $4,500 for a year. They're asking for. We need $4,500. And this AOC lady, who is a nutcase, anyway, in her own right. Let me see here. Oh, that's odd. Hold on here. Let me get a desktop capture up here.
You been watching Doug Collins? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Graham, pretty good. Pretty tight.
Yeah, I like Collins. He's from Ohio, I believe.
Oh, I don't know.
Jordan. I think that's Jim Jordan.
Ooh, yeah, he's good too. I had forgot to mention him.
Yeah, I had put up a few videos earlier today with them. The only one I didn't try, I guess 4. There it is. Sheesh. Took an hour. General. I don't have the luck. I don't ever have the luck when I'm on doing a show. When I'm not, I got all the luck in the world. If I need to find something during a show, can't do it. Can't do it. Not gonna happen. All right, here we go.
Got something.
Okay, so AOC wants Congress to get a raise so they'll stop taking bribes from lobbyists.
What?
So this is what she's saying. In her latest racket, AOC claims that the Congress needs a raise so that the lobbyists will be less successful in buying off these politicians. It's already illegal to buy off. So a freshman member of Congress broke with several members of her own party after House Democrats tabled a discussion Monday about a raise. So she's saying, according to Fox News, swing state Democrats were concerned with the optics of giving themselves a $4,500 annual raise without support from the Republican colleagues, because it looks like they were just going to be begging for something. Members of the U.S. House make $174,000, nearly 3 times as much as a median American household. But Republican Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat from New York, held steadfastly in her position that she, a millennial former bartender, and colleagues need a raise. It's not even like a raise, she said. It's not even like a raise, AOC said, arguing that $4,500 is simply an adjustment for higher cost of living. This is why there's so much pressure to turn to lobbying firms, she said. Oh my gosh, she said if we don't get the raise, then there's a lot of pressure on them to just turn to lobbying groups and take money and to cash in on member service after people leave because precisely of this issue, she said. She echoed the same sentiment on her Twitter account. So,
wow.
AOC's argument is that campaign finance laws are broken and given inordinate amount of influence to big money lobbyists, a point on which she will not receive argument. even from most on the political right. In most countries, donating to a political campaign for political influence is called bribery, and in many cases it is illegal. Here, we call it lobbying. But she's a lawmaker. Her role is to fix broken laws for the betterment of her constituents. Instead, she's a strong-arming the American taxpayer into raising her salary as a prerequisite of doing her job.
Airborne.
So that's
Airborne.
it is just nuts, Woodman, what these people are coming up with, you know.
Well, they're so used to it, you know. The problem is they have to deal with a president now that doesn't play that kind of stupid game. You know, look, as much money as they make, as more in a year, is more than my house is worth. Now, come on, what are they doing? They're dragging their feet. They're not making any headway. All they're trying to do is destroy President Trump. They have nothing to stand on, and every one of them pretty much are just dragging their feet. Get done with this stupid crap. Get on some real country business and run the country. Let's do your job. That's what you get paid for. Don't be playing no stupid soap opera crap that's not going to go anywhere. Get back to doing your job. Your job. Mike, when you worked, you had a job, you done it. When I worked, I had a job, I done it. We couldn't get away with this kind of crap. Are you kidding me?
That's right.
What are you trying to tell me? What are you trying to tell me? If I make $200,000 a year, I can act like a freaking idiot or what? You know what I mean?
No,
this
I
is
agree.
crazy. Represent us. Come on, represent us. All of us veterans, we all represented our country. Not one state, not one county, not any of that. Not one family. The country, people, the country.
Well, and like they said, you know, for years, folks, for years, all we really have is, you know, you listen to the TV, you got like the candidates, and you listen, like, I like what he's saying, so you voted for him, and then when that guy didn't do anything, people would badger you out in the real world, like, didn't you vote for that guy? And you're like, yeah. And you feel really bad because it's almost like a team. You know, you want your team to win. You voted for this guy. You got lots of shirts for the Chicago Bulls or the, whatever your favorite team is. And when they lose, you feel like taking the shirt off. You feel a little upset. You get defensive when people talk crap. And then you got the people that jump ship a lot, you know. Oh, I like this team now. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, they just won the Super Bowl. That's why you like them. You bandwagon, you know, whatever they. So in the politician world, it's similarly the same, folks. You make your best educated decision on who you're going to go vote for, and you hope that they keep their word, but they never did. And that's what somebody brought up, like, well, look, we've had people on both sides, Republican and Democrat, for 20, 30, 40 years now. As they're running, I'm going to make the capital of Israel, Jerusalem. And everyone's like, ah. And then for some reason, every side get in and they would make excuse after excuse after excuse for 4 years or 8, depending on how long they're there, and never get it done. Trump gets in and just does it. He didn't give you an excuse of why he can't. And they talked crap on him doing it. And now he's done it. It's done. This is something, I mean, the border. You still got these left people, oh, we're going to do this. You know, they have talked the talk. We can go back. We've seen the video footage for, 20 years ago, 15 years ago, the Clintons, all the way up Feinstein, Schumer, Pelosi, all these wackos over there talking about the border and the same words that Trump says right now. Were they considered a racist back then? Did they call themselves a racist? Do they call themselves a racist today? Trump's saying what they said. He's a racist for it. They can be like, well, you said the same things. Well, you know, that was a different time era. It was like, were you a racist back then, though? No, I wasn't. Well, how come Trump is today for saying the same things? And you have to just listen to this game of shit. It does. Really. It really is. It really is.
I've seen some old footage the other day that was talking about. You have to bear with me here. This is kind of funny. I might not make it through it. These Democrats, the ones that are bitching about President Trump using money, billions of money for the wall, These are the same ones that years ago uh, were complaining about our country cannot handle it through the welfare system. And they pushed it real hard. They ended up with getting, what, 40 some $billion for this wall security when President Trump isn't asking for near that much. Uh, you look at this is really history, people. I looked at it. This is what our government said back then, and this is what our government says right now. If they would just quit playing these soap operas and put a little faith in our president and forget all their little extra curricular activities they get super money for, forget it. Do your job is what you're there for. Listen to the president. We're gonna drain the swamp. We need our country back. People like Mike and Ben and Scott and I, we try so hard. Listen, we don't do this for our health. Believe me, we love our country and we love our patriots. We know we don't know probably 1,000th of people around us, but we love them all. We love them all. We love them all, and we're trying to make a difference here. You know,
I agree.
These politicians are, God, they make so much money, to be a soap opera guy or woman. That's what it is. It's all soap operas.
Yeah, and like I said, I know there's a precedence, folks, out there of a lot of people getting away with things for a long time, but like Woodman had stated, this is a different administration. They're going by the book. That's why it's the wheels of justice have always been slow. It's nothing new. Unless it's to do with something local and you're involved. Yeah, if it's a small town, things can work a little quicker. But in this scale of things, a lot of people take the defense and like, well, I'm not the only one that sold secrets to the enemy. And it's like, oh, we know you're not, but you're the one we're worried about right now. So for these politicians to get voted in and then get up on stage and then directly start attacking the Constitution to you, the one that voted them in, and saying, you don't really need your Second Amendment. It's kind of, and that is equivalent to a robber being in your home and you're both, it's your home. He's got you by gunpoint. Maybe you got your gun drawn on him, and then you're going to let the burglar talk you out of your gun. You wouldn't do that. These people, it's actually treasonous to do that. You can't be on the perched up in Congress and preach to the people on a TV that trickles down through the airwaves and promote for them not to follow laws that are already on the books that Trump didn't even frickin' bring in, like the border. That, again, is treason or sedition. It falls in a crazy little gray crack right there, but it's one of them, depending on what happens. Also, you can't incite fake noise like they did with the Russia. They didn't have the proof on it, but yet all these Democrats were swearing by it. These ex-heads of intel agencies, alphabetic agencies, were on TV promoting it at the same time they had clearances. So you'd almost want to believe that. Like, oh, wait, hold on. This guy from the ex of the head of the CIA, he's got to be knowing what he's talking about here. And then he was wrong.
Right.
But, it's not just about being wrong and spreading wrong stuff through the airwaves. It's about the incitement of violence that happened, all right? When Trump won, there was rioting, windows kicked in, cars flipped over, stores burnt down. That is treason. And so these people all need to be locked up. They all need to be removed. At the least, never, ever, ever be allowed back up in D.C. on the taxpayers' dime. They're done. And it's a different time, and we're not going to allow this anymore. I mean, just like this article right here, if you take a look at this one, we'll scan through it. Dianne Feinstein today says Americans are obligated to give illegal aliens amnesty. No, we are only supposed to take in ones that are running from a country that, a lot of these are coming over just for economic benefit, folks. If they're screaming like, oh, I fear for my life in Mexico. And if we leave these borders open, who are they running from Mexico to get over here and try to break the laws here to get in? And if our borders are open, then can't these people that are chasing them come right in too? Isn't that actually what we're hearing? MS-13's coming in. The cartels are coming in. That's who these people are running from. I mean, what does Mexico get bored once everybody comes over? That they don't have anybody more to chase, anybody more to harass? what do? They just sit there in the streets of Mexico all alone. So California Senator Dianne Feinstein and a group of Senate Democrats want mass amnesty for illegal immigrants already here. The group of Senate Democrats asserts that American citizens have an obligation to give amnesty to illegal aliens living in America simply because they have earned the right to be in this country. They broke in fair and square, and they stayed here long enough. Therefore, they've earned the right, is what they're saying. So they reported that the House passed a mass amnesty bill last week, which saw Democrats unanimously vote in favor of it, along with 7 House Republicans. Now, Senate Democrats are urging the Senate to take up the bill. The bill approximately gives about 500,000 foreigners, foreign nationals living on a temporary protected status, TPS, a pathway to American citizenship. This bill would also provide a pathway to citizenship for illegal aliens who claim to have entered the U.S. when they were young. So we know what that's entitled. We know. I don't need to read anymore. But I don't know. I'm compassionate. I know we have millions coming in legally, Woodman, a year through the paperwork way, through the doors of our country, and they've waited sometimes 10 years, 8 years, 7 years, 12 years, but they finally get in. Even these people that are from other countries do not want the illegals flowing in. They don't want the amnesty for the people that cheated the system somehow, some way, sometimes. Now I get the babies that are here, the ones that are brought over or born here, and then this is the only country they've ever known. It's not really their fault. There is some weirdness, but those problems were created off of lack of enforcing our borders and stuff anyway. So it's not really like it's just a loophole. It's like almost if you take care of this, then we wouldn't really have a lot of kids that were born here to be that we got to worry about now. But I'm not that incompassionate. I understand people are hungry. And people, but it is an invasion. When you have this month, they're saying there's 100,000 they've caught at the border, or 100,000's crossed over. I don't know if they've caught that many, but man, oh man, that's going to be 1.2 million in a year. If you get 100,000 a month in 12 months, that's 1.2 mil. That is a lot.
Well, Mexico. We've talked about this before. Mexico. They're taking their southern borders and pretty much going like, we've had enough. Mexico can't handle the influx of all these people coming through.
From Honduras on the other side, right?
Everybody coming up. Mexico's not geared up for that, and they started actually cracking down before President Trump said, "Look, you're going to have to do something about this because we can't handle this kind of influx either ourselves, And we're a country that, allows anybody in if you go through the proper way. I understand our country is fantastic, the best in the world. That's why people want to come here. But you have to come here in a legal and proper way. We will not turn anybody away that is legal and proper. And I mean, I'm not talking about we don't want a mass murderer or some cartel. We don't want that. We want people that really truly want to become Americans because we are the land of the free and the home of the brave. And we take care of each other in our country. I don't know these people I'm taking care of. Mike don't know these people we're taking care of. We're just doing it. That's what Americans do. This is our country. We're trying to keep our country on a very close personal level with everybody around you. If you have a bunch of cartel around you, now all of a sudden you got a batch of sour apples in a bushel. You got to wean it out. You can't have freedom with those people walking the streets and shooting innocent people. Period.
Yes.
And we see it all the time.
We already got. Yeah, no, and people will tell us, there's lots of crazy anecdotes people will say, it's like, these people are just hungry. The ones that don't know anything about the border, and that's the only thing they think's crossing. I mean, we know now that a little higher than 30% are not matching up. You got a guy there with like 3 kids. They're doing DNA field tests now, and it's like, this ain't your kids. Oh, you taught me. Now we're not going to go throw them, the kids into a cell with this man to keep them together. It's not his kids, So that's where the separation happens, and then people bitch about that. This is all we get, folks. It is a tough thing to fix when something is already half-ass corroded and falling apart. We got a border that's not working. You got, loopholes, people coming that kids aren't theirs. Woodman just said it today. I'm looking at an article here. The Mexican government arrested 1,000 people on the top of that train that travels from Guatemala and comes right up this way. For years, these people just sit on top of these boxcars and get a free ride almost right through the country of Mexico. They actually stepped in and arrested because they have to, because of the tariff issue. So this is working. Trump's a genius. Now I'm looking at another article here. Honduras or Mexico set to offer safe third country deal, secure Guatemalan border on the other side. So they're going to look at their border with us to help it. They're going to look at the Guatemalan side to stop that from even getting here, because they're traveling through their country, and it's always been like, the Mexican government is more happy for them to hurry up, get up to the U.S. border, and get out of our country. We don't want you here. It's almost like they didn't want them there either, but they were allowing them to use their country as a safe passage. Now it's no longer a safe passage because we're holding them accountable.
Right. And, that country, I have to say in their defense, that Mexico is a very, very poor state to begin with. And if you have all this influx of people coming in, and they have no money, they're relying on Mexico to help them go all the way through to the other border. Mexico is a very poor country. They're trying real hard to get things turned around, in which they're doing a real good job. But they can't handle this influx of people just like we can't. And finally, these countries, other countries, are finding out about this. I don't know who sparked this major influx to begin with, because this is not just like, it's not a spur of the moment thing. Somehow, these people from wherever country they come from, it's been drilled in their head that, all you got to do is get across the border in the United States and they won't get rid of you.
Say this, they were handing out little pamphlets, like literally, to the migrant, that one that was coming in December, that huge caravan. They all had the little piece of paper. When they get there, they go, oh, hold on, senor. And they pull out and read this lawyer thing that was put in, because by them reading that and it coming out of their lips, the U.S. would have to, okay, you're seeking a safe harbor, and it would go through into that legal system, and they knew a court date would be 8 to a year away, 8 months to a year, but now they're on the U.S. side and they're released, and they get to go. Then that's where they take off and end up in some small city and never show back up to that court date ever. For the next 9 years, they'd be avoiding. So it's a broken system, folks. It's been broken, and we cannot operate that way anymore. And you don't need to listen to, these people that sit up there on Congress are only a couple hundred deep. I mean, we're the 99%. We don't need to listen to it. Honestly, it's sedition, treason. They've gotten away with it, just like Joe Biden. Did you go over to Iran? Yep. Did you talk to the government? Yep. Are you a former employee of the government? You're not one now. Yeah, I'm not. Did you tell them not to call Trump? Everybody's doing that. Okay. Well,
yeah.
You're probably going to be the first one to go down for treason, Joe. Well, what about him? Okay, we got you. So
slow right. Joe.
Yeah, slow, sloppy Joe.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, my computer is starting to act glitchy. I'm surprised it hasn't just dropped this little feed for us. Woodman, why don't you give a closing statement of sorts? I need to just shut this down and turn it back on here in a half hour, let it really cool down. Any final words for the Patriots here at the Old Patriot Hour, and anything else you want them to keep an eye out for here in the next few weeks?
Um, all I can say is I've been blessed here as of late, running into a bunch of people that some of them were 82nd Airborne, uh, veterans or veteran spouses or fiancés and stuff. I've been really blessed to meet some of these people, and they were actually um, happy to see that Mike does this kind of a story. Uh, Around here, mainly, well, look who's the vice president. Anyway, we have a lot of people coming from our state that are heavily into politics, and to jump on board with President Trump is a big jump. Now, we need to grab each other's hand. We're not gay. We're not. Some people probably are, but we don't care. We'll overlook that. Let's grab each other by the hand and make this country what it's supposed to be. Let's get rid of the evil, and there's a lot of evil around here, even in our little area right here. A lot of evil. Get rid of that because it doesn't belong here. That's just ruining our backyard. Um, we listen. We all have a duty to watch for each other. Um, I am so glad that I was allowed to be in the 82nd Airborne Division. We were a very tight unit, and I truly think that every patriot out there I can have that same bond with because we are patriots and this is our country and we need to take it back. That's why President Trump is president. Um, there's a lot of fake news out there, people. I'm telling you, it's it's really ugly. And the bad thing is they won't admit what's going on. They kind of semi throw a little word out there about maybe they were wrong before. Give me a break, man. They were all wrong. They were pumping people's heads through nothing but lies. Lie, lie, lie. Well, after a while people hear it and they start to realize it's in the back of their mind and that's what they think about. Um, uh, God bless Mike and Ben and myself and Scott. We dig and try and find out stuff that's not just the normal. Um, we try to bring out what is really factual. The neat thing is the way Mike portrays this or displays it or presents it to anybody on the channel. You can look and see exactly what he's reading. You can write it down. You can do your own investigating. This is something that we would on this show we would all love for anybody to do because when a person goes ahead and finds it out for themselves, it makes it has a better meaning to it. Um, when you just sit back and listen to people talk, you have a good idea. But when you start to dig and start looking and seeing, this is reality, people. This is very very historic. It has never happened in our country since it's been a country. This is historic. We have got to stand hand in hand and get rid of this evil deep state so we can all have. Look, when I was a little kid, we never locked our doors, never had to. Never had to. Look at it now, people have security cameras out. You know, we need to get our country back the way it was. Our forefathers fought real hard to make it what it was to begin with. So
God bless
I
to
hope
that.
I hope everybody is on board with us. We try so hard. Mike is really here. I don't know where he gets sleep at. He tells me every now and then he does because we talk a little bit on the side. But man, you know, hey, he's out there sometimes till 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's when I get up. And I'm going like, did you sleep? Well, no, I couldn't
I
quit.
got into
I was
something.
working on this. Yeah, yeah. Well, you're always working on something, and I know people probably don't really realize just how much time is really involved in that. I mean, Mike, I don't know how many times I've asked you, do you even sleep? And I meant that. Uh, I hope these people realize that we're not doing it for our own health. We're not doing it. We're not doing it to make ourselves feel good. We're not doing it for that reason at all. We are doing it to share information, to let the people know what's going on, and that's the bottom line. I don't care how you cut the cake. That's the bottom line. We just try to help people along the way. Correct, Michael?
Oh, yeah, brother, Woodman has hit it on the head multiple times here in his closing statement. So brother, that is, I got one thing I'll close out on if you're done. That you're absolutely right. I had made a pretty good tweet last night. So, all right, Woodman, stand by. Me and you will talk a little bit after I shut this down. Folks, just to hit on what Woodman was saying here, exactly. Well, I can't say it much better, so let me pull this up real quick, and I'll end it on this, and we will see you guys back here real soon. But let me make that widescreen real fast. There we go. And let me get the banner off, and let me make this a little bigger. Okay, so I had put this last night. Roughly 40% of the population right now, this is what I believe, all right, roughly 40%, might be a little under, might be a little over, still are unaware and asleep. But after the D-class of info and public display of everything that is yet to come, we might get it down to 20% asleep, hopefully down to 15%, 10%, somewhere, right? These sheep, the ones that are left sleeping, the ones that believe in the fake news propaganda, these sheep are the one who will riot, who will take to the streets and will flip out after the mass arrests happen. The media will instruct these sheep to take to the streets, to rebel against a tyrannical military dictatorship that is Trump. That's what they'll pitch. We did all we could, folks. I'll answer questions for anyone, but will not play into the lies with them anymore. Mission critical here, all right? Insurrection Act of 1807 will be enforced to remove all traitors within our borders. Like it or not, protect your children and your loved ones. Comfort those around you and keep your eyes wide open. Won't take long. Nowhere to run and nowhere to hide for these people. No dills, only pain and justice. Patriots are in full control. So that's basically in a nutshell. Everyone's like, we get tons of people on this channel. Why aren't we arresting yet? I get it now. I watched your shows for 6 months, and I personally understand these people are bad. Why ain't Trump done that? Well, it's not about you. Now that you're on board, great. We got another patriot, somebody that's come full circle. You're well aware. You're understanding of lots of the crimes. But unfortunately, we're not worried about you now. We're worried about the ones that are asleep. Those are the ones that get hurt. All right. We don't want 40% of our population going crazy or 30%. Trump is a compassionate person. He understands that there's been a great deal of propaganda placed out from the media. Really disservice. Really disservice. The media has failed us 1,000% in the last 3 years. They have actually lied. And you can see them pushing it. When something doesn't go their way, they bend and is like, man, the media just doing this on their own. Well, we know they got some handlers. They got some people that are in control. A narrative shoots downhill. But still, it's been a great disservice, and it's messed with a lot of people's minds. I mean, you got the media, you got the political people, but who are the ones that rioted after the elections? The people. We saw it. Those are the ones that took to the streets. Those are the ones that break windows, break cars, flip them over, burn down their grocery stores, and then a week later, it's victim. We ain't got nowhere to shop at. Our store's gone. Well, why did you burn it down? That's besides the point. We're starving. It gets bad. It's a circus all the way around. So we need to be well aware of that. And now I'm not saying there aren't some patriots out there that are all ready. Like, who cares about 40%? Bring it on. I'm ready. That's, again, you got to be careful, because there's a lot of people out there that claim to be patriots, folks. And the minute that things would go down in this country, they will turn to riot and loot and steal and pillage. Same thing, all right? They're so-called patriots, but boy, oh boy, once the rule of law goes away, they're not so patriot all of a sudden after all right? They become a little evil as well. So keep all this in mind as we move forward, all right? We're going to shut this one down. I'm Mike. This is a Patriot Hour. It was awesome to have Woodman on with us tonight. We tried to go live, and I think you guys watching this right now, this would have been probably a premiere. We might put this out as a premiere at about 8:30 tonight. So it's almost a live fill effect for some of you that want to be in the live chat. I know that can happen. This is almost an hour long, so it'd be a good one. Again, God bless. Godspeed to each and every one of you. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. See something, say something. Protect your loved ones. Comfort those around you. Share this video across all social media platforms. Take a look in the description box. Take a look in the comment section. And again, thank you to all the donations in the last few weeks and to all of you leaving comments and checking out some of the comments. We truly, truly appreciate it. Again, God bless to each and every one of you, and we'll see you back here real soon on the next Patriot Hour update.
And so it is to the printing press, to the recorder of man's deeds, the keeper of his conscience, the courier of his news, that we look for strength and assistance. Without debate, without criticism, no administration and no country can succeed, and no republic can